are fixing the elections in Texas. But that does not mean that California should fix the elections because of that. Two wrongs don't make a right.
You don't buy what Governor Newsom's saying?
Of course not. Look, I've sat there in Sacramento. I've listened to the politicians for 7 years. They are not interested in giving any power to the people. The only interest that they have is to take power away from the people and grab it themselves. So this gives them a great opportunity by saying, oh, we have to fight Trump. Let's go and get...
Arnold Schwarzenegger just dropped a political dumbbell squarely on Gavin Newsom's head. And trust me, California hasn't been this entertained since the last power outage. The Terminator seems to have traded flexing his muscles for flexing his opinions. And Newsom might be wishing Judgment Day had stayed on the big screen. When Arnold calls you out, it's not a debate, it's a cinematic roast fueled by protein shakes, chaos, and that unmistakable action hero.
With a myriad of issues, I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
Before we move on, smash that like button and subscribe because you don't want to miss this one. California might need a new state anthem after this, because Arnold Schwarzenegger just remixed the political playlist. The man who once battled futuristic robots is now taking on modern bureaucracy. And somehow Gavin Newsom has become the final boss. You know things are getting wild when the Terminator looks at California and says, I'll be back, but only after the taxes come.
You know, it's like there's some challenges all over the world. Los Angeles has its challenges, and I hope they solve the challenges very quickly, and that the federal government and the state and the locals all can work together in solving those problems.
I'm sure you're glad you don't have to be a decision maker anymore, or do you wish you were?
I will be more than happy to make those decisions.
Really, the Hollywood action hero turned governor, turned global eco-warrior, taking on the guy who styles his hair like he's perpetually running for office. You can practically smell the ego in the air. A heady mix of cologne, ambition, and broken policy promises.
What's your view in terms of what should happen nationwide when it comes to redistricting?
Well, first of all, in California, it's a big mistake to go and to dismantle and to basically kind of get rid of the independent redistricting commission under the auspices of we got to have more power than the Republicans. And we got to fight Trump.
Gavin he delivered a full-blown cinematic performance, the kind of dramatic energy where you half expect him to pull out a cigar, lean back, and tell California it needs more biceps and less bureaucracy. When the former governor who once ran the state on charisma and protein powder decides to lecture the current one, you know the drama is juicier than a Hollywood reboot.
Further, when I was governor, by working together with the Democrats, by letting them know they're not the enemy, that I am a strong believer that if we want to go and make California successful or America successful, we can do this the best possible way by having Democrats and Republicans work.
Because Gavin Newsom isn't just a politician anymore, he's a walking brand. His hair has more structure than California's economy. And his speeches sound like TED Talks written by a PR team paid in almond milk. Yet somehow, it's Arnold bringing the real heat, calling out the chaos in the very state he once ruled like a gym coach with executive.
United States of America. He doesn't believe in that. He believes in the red states. He's going after, it's a war. He's a wartime president. He's the head of a war party. War on women, war on voting rights, war on Hispanics, a war on this state, war on institutions, war on history. I mean, this is serious. This guy's trying to get a Nobel Peace Prize. That's what he's going to try to say tomorrow in Alaska, that he's the big guy trying to find peace, really? When he's bringing war to the American...
The funniest part is that Arnold probably didn't even mean to cause an earthquake. Just an offhand comment about California's leadership. And suddenly, Sacramento was shaking harder than a 9.0. The man sneezes, and political pundits treat it like scripture, while eye rolls could be felt all the way across the Pacific. The governor, who spends half his time convincing everyone everything's fine, suddenly found himself roasted by the only man who could make climate change sound like a movie pitch. Things got so awkward, even Hollywood elites were asking, wait, Whose side are we on? One's all brute force, the other preaches inner peace, and somehow both think they're saving the state. The timing
To fight for democracy and to get rid of your democratic principles. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing against Newsom. We don't have a fight over this at all.
Yeah, because you guys met. What was that like when you
It
guys
was a
met
wonderful
together?
meeting. He told me what he felt. I told him, I said, I totally get it, because this is what you need to do to be the leader of the party. I totally get it, but I'm not a party person, I said. I'm a people's person. I always will fight for the power of
been strutting around as the golden boy of progressive politics, flirting with national ambitions, when Bam Arnold drops a verbal dumbbell right on his jaw. It's as if California's karma decided to don sunglasses and a leather jacket. Arnold's vibe basically screamed, when I ran this place, sure, there was chaos, but at least people could afford rent. Newsom is probably wishing for an invisibility cloak, maybe something sustainable made from recycled sandals. Meanwhile, the internet went absolutely wild. Twitter, sorry, X, split in two. Half flexing in support of Arnold's boldness, the other half defending Newsom like he's California's last avocado tree. Political memes multiplied faster than housing prices, and somewhere, Elon Musk was probably sprinkling popcorn emojis across the thread. Both visions are absurdly cinematic ones, an action movie. The other, a documentary insisting everything's fine while the lights flicker. One
Brad, what's Arnie the Terminator up to in California?
So he's upset now about gerrymandering in California and in Texas. There's basically this big back and forth that's going on where in Texas, Republicans are planning on doing mid-decade gerrymandering, which is redrawing the legislative districts to give yourself more seats in Congress by kind of choosing your voters. This is something Democrats have historically been against and wanted to ban, but now they're saying they will do it too in response. So
Arnold's critique wasn't just political, it was deeply personal. Like watching a guy drive past his old mansion and see it crumble under new ownership. He tried to stay silent, but you can only witness so much chaos before your inner Terminator kicks in. Newsom, of course, played it cool, the California way. Smile, deflect, talk about innovation, but inside, he's fuming. Getting publicly called out by Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't something you just brush off. It's like being roasted by a legend who literally ran the same office and somehow made it look fun. And Arnold isn't subtle. He doesn't whisper criticism. He drops it like a weight plate. His diplomacy comes wrapped in metaphors about strength, discipline, and maybe a casual nod to destroying your enemies. One's built like a tank, the other like a luxury electric car. And Californians can probably guess which one they feel stuck with when the grid fails.
criticizing Trump and Gavin Newsom for doing it. I'm not sure he'll be able to actually do anything about it. It's kind of baked into our political system, but things are fine. Things are going amazing here. We're just kind of in a perpetual race to the bottom of who can take the shadiest step next to kind of rig the political system in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, do we expect anything else from the pin-up boy for stupidity, Newsom?
Let's be honest, when Arnold calls out Newsom, he's also calling out himself. Because he helped build this circus, he's basically the founding father of California celebrity politics. Without him, Newsom might still be rehearsing speeches in front of a mirror. It's a full circle moment. The mentor turned critic. The original showman scolding his successor for not knowing his lines, with irony dripping thicker than a protein shake. The state that turned governance into an entertainment franchise is now watching its past and present fight for top billing like The Expendables, Sacramento edition. So what better way to reinsert himself into the spotlight than taking a shot at the current king of California? Cool. Meanwhile, Newsom is probably pacing in front of his mirror, rehearsing a response, but how do you clap back at a man whose very existence is a meme? You can't outcool Arnold. You can't outframe him. You can only hope the next wildfire, flood, or tech scandal distracts everyone before your approval ratings melt like ice cream in LA heat.
Even Arnold Schwarzenegger is against what Gavin Newsom is doing in California. And that should tell you something. Here's what's going on in California if you don't know. Gavin Newsom is pushing a plan that would weaken the state's independent redistricting commission. The commission was created to make sure that election maps are fair. No political party rigging the lines. But Newsom's proposal could give more control back to the politicians. And that's where Arnold comes in. Remember, Schwarzenegger is a Republican, but he's not necessarily a Trump guy. Yet even Arnold Schwarzenegger says this move by Newsom is wrong.
Arnold's criticism landed because it came from experience. He knows how hard it is to manage California's chaos, But he also knows when someone's overcomplicating it. His unspoken message was simple. Stop treating the state like a philosophical experiment and just fix the damn potholes. Californians don't want TED Talks about renewable energy while their cars vanish into sinkholes. They want leadership that actually leads, not just looks good in magazine spreads. That's where Arnold's jab stings. He's not just mocking policies, he's mocking the whole aesthetic of modern politics, where leaders look like models, sound like motivational speakers, but can't even keep the lights on. That blend of sincerity and absurdity is what made him a legend. You can practically hear him saying, "When I was governor, we lifted California up," literally. And somehow you believe him, because even his exaggerations feel more real than half of what modern politicians.
Movie star and former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger is preparing to battle Governor Newsom over Newsom's redistricting efforts. Ashley, explain to us how Schwarzenegger is planning to fight against Newsom.
He's back. Governor of California, he's back. He has a beef with the current governor, and he says democracy is at stake. Schwarzenegger is angry with Newsom for planning to redistrict California, who are doing that in response to the...
Loved it headlines everywhere, commentators dissecting it like a heavyweight match. One side called Arnold brave, the other out of touch. While the rest of America watched in bewilderment, wondering why California keeps turning its politics into a Netflix series. Arnold's move also exposed something deeper: the state's ongoing identity crisis. California wants to be a moral leader, a climate savior, and a tech paradise, yet it can't keep gas prices under $7. Arnold basically voiced what everyone's thinking. Maybe stop trying to save the world and just fix California first. That mix of brutal honesty and showmanship makes him unpredictable. Can't tell if he's campaigning or trolling. But no chart beats a Terminator 1. Facts are fragile. Charisma is forever. In that arena, Arnold remains undefeated. The tension between him and Newsom mirrors a larger problem: the clash between image and substance. California has perfected looking successful while quietly collapsing under its own weight. And Arnold had the nerve to point it out loudly with enough swagger to make it go.
Christian, you're in California. I have a lot of people here in Australia talking to me about Gavin Newsom, asking what I think about him. And I feel like this is one of those moments that's very revealing about the guy's character. I mean, if he's going to be so petty about this, is everything just going to be this political fight, turning everybody into either friends or enemies?
Yeah, it's a bad look for sure, and it's something he shouldn't really be engaging with. He should just honor the ex-governor, who's obviously a huge movie star and a pop culture icon, and just leave it there. I mean, I think that's magnanimous. I think it's what people want.
You can almost hear the collective sigh of Californians fed up with polished incompetence. Arnold became their unfiltered voice, saying what everyone else's PR teams won't. But don't be fooled, he's not just a retired celebrity venting. This is calculated. Every move, every statement, is part of the Arnold Legacy Project. A reminder that while the new guard tweets about progress, the old guard actually did things. Even if that involved budget cuts and questionable movie cameos. Still, the spectacle is impossible not to laugh at. Two rich, photogenic men arguing over who loves California more, like a beauty pageant for politicians who refuse to age gracefully. One has the tan and the teeth, the other, the muscles and the memories. The more you think about it, the funnier it gets. A man whose entire career was built on pretending to save the world is now scolding another for pretending to save the state. Hypocrisy.
He literally said that trying to mess with this commission is dangerous for democracy. By the way, we don't live in a democracy, we live in a constitutional republic. Think about that for a second. It's not just Republicans that are criticizing this. Arnold has worked across party lines before, so if even he is against it, it's got to be a big deal. At the end of the day, fair maps mean fair elections, and nobody should be afraid of fairness, but I think Gavin Newsom is. That's why Arnold Schwarzenegger is calling out Gavin Newsom's plan, because once you let politicians draw their own lines, the people lose. I agree with Arnold, and I disagree with Gavin Newsom. What do you...
For anything. But he's running laps around modern politicians in authenticity. He doesn't need consultants or slogans, his persona is the slogan. When he calls out someone like Newsom, the contrast is cinematic. Newsom talks about progress. Arnold talks about action. Newsom tweets. Arnold lifts. Newsom plans committees. Arnold builds gyms. One's polished, one's primal. And in politics, primal usually wins hearts faster. Of course, the aftermath will fade like any news cycle. But the image sticks. The former governor smirks, while the current one scrambles to maintain composure. It's political theater at its best. unscripted, absurd, yet entirely believable. Every California leader must one day face the Terminator's judgment, a symbolic torch passing. Except the torch is on fire and held by a man who refuses to age. Maybe that's the moral. Politics has become entertainment. Entertainment has become politics, and Arnold is just blurring the line he helped create. Newsom is the sequel, but the original still has the fan base.
Is calling out President Trump as well, saying that gerrymandering is evil, and he used the word evil no matter who does it. It's unclear how hard Schwarzenegger will fight Newsom or what form that opposition could take. A recent picture, though, posted to Instagram showed the former governor wearing a t-shirt that read, "F the politicians, terminate gerrymandering." So we know where he stands.
You can almost hear the collective sigh of Californians fed up with polished incompetence. Arnold became their unfiltered voice, saying what everyone else's PR teams won't. But don't be fooled, he's not just a retired celebrity venting. This is calculated. Every move, every statement, is part of the Arnold Legacy Project. A reminder that while the new guard tweets about progress, the old guard actually did things. Even if that involved budget cuts and questionable movie cameos. Still, the spectacle is impossible not to laugh at. Two rich, photogenic men arguing over who loves California more, like a beauty pageant for politicians who refuse to age gracefully. One has the tan and the teeth, the other, the muscles and the memories. The more you think about it, the funnier it gets. A man whose entire career was built on pretending to save the world is now scolding another for pretending to